first one's always the hard one. Yes.
What's your favorite part of the writing process?
My favorite part of the writing process is not starting. That's the worst part. Because it's like, okay, close Facebook. I'm very good at procrastinating like every other human being, I think. My favorite part of the writing process is when I get to that point when I'm writing that I've stopped counting words. I'm so into the flow of the book and the story that it doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter if I have a softball game. Someone will come get me in time. I'm not going to worry about it. I am just there. Because when I get into writing, when the words start flowing, it's almost like I go away. I hate flying, okay? I'm one of those people that I don't want to get in an airplane. I don't like it. But when I'm flying, if I open up my computer and I put the headphones on, put on John Surrey or George Winston, you know, some nice instrumental music. When I start typing, I completely forget that I'm in an airplane. And so I'm able to fly. If I did nothing but get in a plane to Logan and fly to LAX, then back to Logan and back, I'd write 30 books a year. I'm not kidding. It gets me through the flight. So there's that one point you hit when the words start flowing and the characters are screaming at you for stage time and they're telling you their story and you've forgotten where you are. It doesn't get better. That's my favorite part of writing.
Yes, I assume that you played Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't, not anymore. I play Demon Wars Reformation.
I remember the excitement of playing the game and anticipating the next game. And
Absolutely.
We did it for a long time, and the whole flavor of that is in the book. I know that I identified with my character a lot. I'm assuming that you identified with Driss.
Nope.
Not at all.
See? Driss was never a character in the game.
What was your character?
My character, well, I always played monks. I love monks. That's why I wrote Demon Wars. It's about monks, mostly. But my first character was a character named Balexis. If anyone's read Echoes of the Fourth Magic, that old series, the hero was Balexis. And he was a barbarian, but he wasn't a barbarian, he was a fighter. They didn't have barbarians in first edition. He was a fighter. And I played him for about 25, 27 levels. It took like 6 years to get there. And then I had a couple of wizards, and I had a bunch of monks, and we never had dark elves in our game. And I don't know where Dritz came from, honestly. I think if I had to guess, I was kind of going for that Fafhrd and Grey Mouser thing with Wolfgar and the sidekick, and I needed to come up with a sidekick for Wolfgar. And I just said a dark elf, and the editor was like, a dark elf? I'm like, yeah, a dark elf ranger. A dark elf ranger. I'm like, that'd be cool. Nobody's ever done that. And I had never played him in a game or anything. The only character I've ever played in a game, well now there's two, but the only character I ever played in the game who went into the books was a highway halfling named Oliver Burroughs, who's in the Crimson Shadow books. And he's my favorite funny character. Oliver is a combination, he's a cross between Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride and the little French guy on the wall in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And the thing about Oliver, he's really hard to write because he doesn't just say funny things. He says things and you read right by it and about 3 pages later you go, oh, and you go back to make sure he really said what he said. He's a groan. And I played him in a game because I wanted to know if I could make him annoying enough. And when he got killed, about 6 weeks in, and everybody stood up and cheered, he went in the book. And that's it worked. And I love writing Oliver. He's one of my favorite characters. The only other character I've ever played in the game was a monk named Brother Thaddeus. And I played him in Demon Wars. He was my monk in Demon Wars. And he was a mage. He was a gemstone monk. The monks, you can have 4 trees. You can be St. Bruce, which is the striker, St. Belfour, which is kind of the tank, St. Evelyn, which is the gemstone user, or St. Gwendolyn, which is the battlefield philosopher, the one that helps with all the balance. Because balance is an important fuel for characters. But anyway, without getting too far afield, he was a St. Evelyn. He had terrible endurance, terrible strength. He was this weakling but he didn't care because he had the gemstones. And so he was a St. Evelyn monk, and he would just throw his lightning bolts and his fireballs, take that lodestone and shoot someone down from halfway across the room with the bullet, the lodestone bullet. And he killed the striker with a lightning bolt, accidentally. Well, he knew there was a chance, but he killed him. And then he felt so bad, he felt that he had to take the place of the striker. But here he is, he's weak, he's got this terrible endurance, and, you could kind of go, they'd fall over. So he started using the gemstones to bolster himself, because you can do that. There's a whole tree of magic that you can do that. And so he became the guy with the tiger paw hand, fighting. And he wasn't as good as the strikers, and he wasn't as good as but he was that character had an evolution in the game. So I wrote the novella about him in the Demon Wars book. But other than that, I keep the gaming and the writing kind of separate. And usually I'm DMing anyway.